Hello dear students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. DC Saxena, Professor and Head, the Department of Food Engineering and Technology at Sant Longowal Institute of Engineering and Technology, Longowal. I am presenting you the paper Technology of Meat, Poultry, Fish and Seafood Products. In this, I am presenting you the module Basic Preparatory Procedure of Meat, Curing and Smoking, which will be further explained by my co-author Mrs. Aarti, who has been associated with this work for a long time.
Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Khan Nadia from Sant Longwal Institute of Engineering and Technology on behalf of Ms. Aarti. Today I am going to talk about Module 11 of paper number 8, Technology of Meat, Poultry, Fish and Seafood. In this module, we will be learning about curing and smoking methods of meat. Curing is addition of salt, sugar and nitrite or nitrate to meats for purpose of preservation, flavor enhancement or color development. Today, curing is performed more for flavor development than for preservation. There are two systems for curing entire meat pieces, dry curing and wet curing. And the type of final product determines which system will be used. In meat smoking, hardwood, sawdust or chips are used because softwood products result in sooty deposits. Over 200 components comprise smoke and 80 have been identified. Almost all exhibit bacteriostatic or bactericidal properties. Smoke consists of two parts. One is dispersed phase, consists of parts that are 2 to 3 micrometers in size, tars, soot, charcoal and resins. Second is the gaseous phase, which is not visible. It consists of phenols, acids and carbonyl compounds. The main benefits of smoking and are flavor and odor enhancement, color development on outside of product, preservation of the product. In this module, we will go through the introduction of curing and smoking, cured meat, types of curing, dry curing, wet curing, injection curing, smoking, types of smoking, cold smoking, hot smoking, smoking and products. Historical background. The salting and smoking of meat was an ancient practice even before the birth of Christ. These early processed meat products were prepared for one purpose, their preservation for use at some further time. Salt was used at concentrations high enough to preserve the meat. Preservation by smoking is believed to have been developed inadequately by the primitive tribes. The American Indians preserved meat prior to settlement by Europeans by hanging it in the top of teepee to maximize contact with campfire smoke. The origin of the use of nitrite is lost in history. Salt containing nitrates was used in Homer's time to preserve meat. Nitrate was present originally as a natural impurity in the salts used in curing, but unknown to the users, was a key ingredient in the curing process. The Romans, who learned the art of curing meat with salt from the Greeks, were the first to note the reddening effect now attributed to nitrite. Although the role of nitrites in cured meat was not really understood until early in 20th century, it's clear that for thousands of years nitrite has played an important role in meat curing. Selection and handling of meat. Meat is a highly perishable product in which deteriorative changes begin soon after bleeding of the animal. The primary cause of product deterioration is microorganisms, which may be bacteria, yeasts, or molds. The tissue of the living animal are essentially free of these. However, the first source of contamination is with the sticking knife in the bleeding process. Other sources of contamination are associated with handling conditions such as contact of the hide, puncture of the intestinal tract, and improper cleaning of equipment used for cutting and processing. The best way to keep deterioration of product to a minimum is with low cooler temperatures and a good sanitation program. Proper handling of meat is the key to successful meat curing. Rapid chilling of the hog carcass or any other meat cuts is a must to prevent spoilage. With adequate refrigeration, it takes 12 to 15 hours to chill a 150-pound hog carcass down to 40 Fahrenheit internal temperature. This is extremely important since warm meat may start spoiling before the salt penetrates to the center of cut. Ham sore from anaerobic bacteria present in lymph nodes or bone joint may result if the fresh, uncured ham is not chilled below 40 Fahrenheit. Cut most commonly cured from pork are the ham, shoulders, and belly, while jowl and loin are sometimes cured. Most commonly cured beef cuts are briskets, strips of round or chuck, and plates, which can be cured as beef bacon. Sanitary conditions can affect the flavor of fresh or cured meats. Thus, it's essential to have clean equipment and facilities to produce the highest quality cured product. The work area should be cleaned daily with warm water and detergent, followed by a sanitizer for microbial control. All complete sanitation programs should include these steps. Curing. Consumers associate the majority of processed meat products like hams, bacon, and most sausages with an attractive pink or red color after heat treatment. However, experience shows that meat or meat mixes after kitchen style cooking or frying turn brownish gray or gray. In order to achieve the desired red or pink color, meat or meat mixes are salted with common salt, sodium chloride, which contains a small quantity of the curing agent sodium nitrite. Sodium nitrite has the ability to react with red meat pigment to form the heat-stable red curing color. Only very small amounts of nitrite are needed for this purpose. Curing is a type of food preservation and its ingredients are salt, nitrate and nitrite, sugar, ascorbates like sodium ascorbate or sodium erythorbate. Two main ingredients that must be used to cure meat are salt and nitrite. However, other substances can be added to accelerate curing, stabilize color, modify flavor, and reduce shrinkage during processing. Now, the salt. Salt is the primary ingredient used in meat curing. Originally, it served as a preservative by dehydration and osmotic pressure, which inhibits bacterial growth. Salt still functions as a preservative in the country-style cured meat product. The main function of salt in other cured products is to add flavor. However, even at low concentrations, salt has some preservative action. Salt levels are dependent on consumers' taste, but a 2 to 3% concentration in the product is about right. Nitrate and nitrite. Nitrates and nitrites, either potassium or a sodium salt, are used to develop cured meat color. They impart a bright reddish pink color which is desirable in a cured product. In addition to the color role, nitrates and nitrites have a pronounced effect on flavor. Without them, a cured ham would be simply a salty pork roast. They further affect flavor by acting as powerful antioxidants. Antioxidants are compounds that prevent the development of oxidative rancidity, which would reduce the keeping quality. Sodium nitrites also prevent the growth of a food poisoning microorganism known as Clostridium botulinum, the bacteria that causes botulism. Now, nitrates and nitrites must be used with caution during curing. They are toxic when used in large amounts. The federal and state meat inspection regulations limit the amount that can be used in curing. It's important that exact amounts are used and the curing mixture is thoroughly mixed. Sugar. Sugar serves several important purposes in cured meat. First of all, it adds flavor, and secondly, it counteracts the harshness of salt. Also, sugar provides a surface color characteristic of aged ham if caramelized sugar is used. Both brown and white sugars can be used. The sugars most frequently used are sucrose, cane sugar, dextrose, and invert sugar. The amount of sugar used is self-limiting due to its sweetening power. Ascorbates, sodium ascorbate or sodium erythorbate. Ascorbates are used to speed the curing reaction by faster color development through more rapid reduction of nitrates and nitrites to nitric oxide. The nitric oxide combines with the meat pigment myoglobin to form nitrosomyoglobin, dark red color. When the product is heated to 130 to 140 degree Fahrenheit, the nitrosomyoglobin is converted to a stable pigment nitrosohemochrome, light pink in color. Also, ascorbates are used to stabilize cure color of meats. The most frequently used cure accelerator compounds are sodium ascorbate or sodium erythorbate. Curing pickle containing these compounds should be used within 24 hours because their reaction with nitrite will lower the nitrite level of pickle and its effectiveness. The ingredient phosphate should be used only for those meats cured with a liquid cure. Phosphates are adjuncts used to increase the water holding capacity of cured products. Increased water holding capacity will increase yields of product and improve retention of brine. Phosphates are not easily soluble in a pickle. It is recommended to dissolve the phosphates first, then add it to the pickle. Sodium tripolyphosphate, sodium hexametaphosphate, and sodium pyrophosphate are approved by USDA for use in meat curing. Water must not be taken for granted as an ingredient of curing pickle. It acts as a carrier of other ingredients, influences composition of meat, and it may contribute to palatability or juiciness of the product. Yield of finished product is dependent on amount of water retained during cooking and cooking process. Such yields are critical in determining the price of the finished cooked product. In figure 1, it contains pieces of cooked meat, pork, 4 pieces with common salt only on right and 3 with common salt containing small amounts of nitrite on left. In figure 2, 2 sausage cuts are shown, one produced with salt only on the right and other with salt and small amounts of nitrite as shown on left. Types of curing. There are 2 systems for curing entire meat pieces, which include dry curing and wet curing, and the type of final product determines which system will be used. Dry curing. Dry curing was the original method of preserving meat through a dry rub method of cure application. It involves mixing the cure ingredients and subsequently rubbing the mixture on the external surfaces of the meat to be cured, followed by extended storage and subsequent reapplications of the cure mixture called overhauling. Although this cure method requires 1 to 2 months or longer for large pork cuts such as hams and involves a large amount of shrinkage, it is considered a popular method for curing hams in Virginia. In figure 4, there is the application of dry curing mix, curing salt, curing accelerators, spices on fresh ham, pork leg. In figure 5, ham is uniformly covered by curing mix. In dry curing, a curing mix contains salt or nitrate curing salt together with spices and other additives. The pieces of meat are rubbed with this curing mix and packed in tanks. The curing mix gradually permeates into the meat, which can be a lengthy process ranging from several days to several weeks. The dry curing method is best used for all types of sausage, bacon, and hams that will be air dried. The dry cure method is characterized by fast action and it can be used under wider temperature variations than other curing methods. Suitable for meats that will not be cooked but smoked and air dried or just dried. The wet curing method. Wet curing method, sometimes called brine, sweet pickle, or immersion curing, has been traditionally used for large cuts of meat like butts or hams that were smoked. It is accomplished by placing meats in a wet curing solution like water, salt, nitrate, sometimes sugar. Sugar is added only when curing at refrigerated temperatures, otherwise it may begin fermentation and start to spoil the meat. The second method of curing meat pieces is wet curing. It's also called pickling, which involves application of curing brine to the meat. For the manufacture of the brine, curing salt and spices and other additives, if required, are dissolved in water. The meat cuts are packed in tanks and brine is added until all pieces are completely covered. A temperature of 8 to 10 degrees Celsius for the curing room is recommended as lower temperatures may retard curing. For equal penetration of the brine, the meat is cured for periods ranging from several days to 2 weeks, depending on the size of the cuts and curing conditions. After completion of the curing, ripening periods for the products follow for taste and flavor buildup. Injection curing. Injection curing is the quick way of wet curing to accelerate the diffusion of the curing substances. For this purpose, we can use brine injectors with perforated hollow needles and simple pumping devices. Three forms of injection curing are stitch or spray pumping, cure directly injected into meat with needles, artery pumping, accomplishes best possible distribution of cure dispersed via capillaries. At the industrial level, semi-automatic multi-needle brine injectors are used for wet curing. This is the rapid penetration of cure into meat, less spoilage and shrinkage, and also not conducive to development of typical flavor, aroma, and texture. Smoking. Three traditionally recognized reasons for smoking meat are for preservation, appearance, and flavor. Smoked meat is less likely to spoil than unsmoked meat. Smoking improves flavor and appearance, aids in reducing mold growth as well as retards rancid flavors. It takes about 24 hours to smoke and cook hams. Smoking is usually accomplished in three stages: During the first phase or drying stage, smoke house is heated to 125 °F. All dampers are opened to allow all excess moisture to escape, and there is no smoking during this 8-hour period. During next 8-hour stage, the dampers are partially closed and the temperature on the house is increased to 135 °F and smoke is generated. The smoke is continued throughout the third stage with all dampers closed and the temperature on the house raised to 180 °F. Hold this temperature until the product temperature reaches 142 °F. These hams will require further cooking in the home for full tenderization. Hams sold as fully cooked have received extra heat processing to an internal temperature of at least 148 °F. The wood used to generate the smoke should be of hardwood species. Do not use pine or any other resinous wood or sawdust because the smoke from such wood will be sooty and strong smelling. It is recommended to use wood or sawdust from hickory, apple, plum, oak, maple, ash, or any non-resinous wood to obtain satisfactory results. Some useful components contribute to the development of following desirable effects on processed meat products. Meat preservation through aldehydes, phenols, and acids result in antimicrobial effect. Antioxidant impact through phenols and aldehydes result in retarding fat oxidation. Smoke flavor through phenols, carbonyls, and others result in the smoked taste. Smoke color formation through carbonyls and aldehydes give the meat attractive color. Surface hardening of sausage or casings through aldehydes in particular for a more rigid structure of the casing. Types of smoking. Depending on the product, smoke is applied at different temperatures. There are two principal smoking techniques which include cold smoking and hot smoking. The principle of both methods is that the smoke infiltrates the outside layers of the product in order to develop flavor, color, and a certain preservative effect. Cold smoking. This is the traditional way of smoking meat products and was primarily used for meat preservation. Nowadays, it serves more for flavor and color formation. For example, in sausage made from pre-cooked materials such as liver sausage and blood sausage. The combination of cold smoking and drying or ripening can be applied to fermented sausage and salted or cured entire meat pieces, in particular money raw ham products. In long-term ripened and dried hams, apart from providing color and flavor, the cold smoking has an important preservative effect as it prevents the growth of molds on the meat surfaces. The optimal temperature in coal smoking is 15 to 18 degrees Celsius. Sawdust should be burned slowly with little smoke only and the meat hung not too close to the source of the smoke. Coal smoking is a long process which may take several days. It is not applied continuously but in intervals for a few hours per day. Hot smoking. Hot smoking is carried out at temperatures of 60 to 80 degrees Celsius. Hot smoking assures a rapid color and flavor development. The treatment period is kept relatively short in order to avoid excessive impact of the smoke. Hot smoking periods not much longer than 10 minutes for sausage with a thin caliber like frankfurters. The thermal destruction of the wood used for smoking is normally not sufficient to produce these temperatures in the smoking chamber, hence additional heat has to be applied in the smoking chamber. Hot smoking is used for a range of raw cooked sausage, bacon and cooked ham products. Smoking and products. Cold smoking can be used for fermented meat products like raw cured ham, raw fermented sausage, and for pre-cooked or cooked sausage like liver and blood sausage. Hot smoking can be used for a range of raw cooked sausage, bacon, and cooked ham products. Smoke treatment can only be applied if meat products are filled in casings permeable to smoke. All natural casings are smoke permeable, as are cellulose or collagen based synthetic casings. Smoke permeable casings can also be treated using a new technology where a liquid smoke solution is applied on the surface. This can be done by dipping in solution, showering outside chamber, or atomization, that is spraying inside chamber. Polyamide or polyester based synthetic casings are not permeable to smoke. If smoke flavor is wanted for products in such casings, small quantities of suitable smoke flavor, dry or liquid, are added directly to the product mix during manufacture. Storage of cured or smoked products. You should have an excellent product when you remove smoked poultry from smokehouse or oven. However, improper storage can ruin both the flavor and safety of your masterpiece. Put cured and smoked poultry, like all cured meats, in a container that will minimize exposure to air. Cured meats, especially cured poultry meats, are very susceptible to rancidity. Cured and smoked poultry requires refrigeration at 40 degrees Fahrenheit or below and will keep for 2 to 3 weeks at those temperatures. If longer storage is necessary, properly packaged, cured, and smoked poultry can be frozen at 0 degrees Fahrenheit for up to 1 year. Use a plastic bag for refrigerator storage. For long-term frozen storage, use a moisture vapor-proof bag. Curing and smoking are the methods used for improving the quality of meat and meat products. Curing is a type of food preservation and main curing ingredients are salt, nitrate and nitrite, sugar and ascorbates like sodium ascorbate or sodium erythorbate. Curing is mainly of two types like dry and wet curing. Smoking is also used for flavor and preservation purpose. Cold smoking used for fermented meat products like raw cured ham, raw fermented sausage, pre-cooked or cooked sausage like liver and blood sausage, and hot smoking is used for a range of raw cooked sausage, bacon and cooked ham products. So students, let us now summarize what we have learned in this module. Curing and smoking are the methods used for improving the quality of meat and meat products. Meat must be fresh prior to applying any preservation method. Curing should not be used to salvage meat that has excessive bacterial growth or spoilage. Meat, especially game meat, does not need to be aged since curing or smoking will act to tenderize it. If aging is desired, age all meats below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Cure mixtures do not penetrate into frozen meats. Before curing, it's essential to thaw meats completely first in the refrigerator. Pieces must be prepared to uniform sizes to ensure uniform cure penetration. This is extremely critical for dry and immersion curing. Use an approved recipe for determining the exact amount of curing formulation to be used for a specified weight of meat or meat mixture. All surfaces of meat must be rotated and rubbed at intervals of sufficient frequency to ensure cure penetration when a dry curing method is used. Curing should be carried out at temperature between 35 degrees Fahrenheit and 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The lower temperature is set for the purpose of ensuring cure penetration and the upper temperature is set to limit microbial growth. Curing solutions must be discarded unless they remain with the same batch of product during its entire curing process because of the possibility of bacterial growth and cross-contamination. Do not reuse brine. The functions of curing are shelf life extension, development of unique properties, resistance to rapid deterioration, and controlling microbial growth. In meat smoking, verify that smokehouses operate as intended. Appropriate calibrated thermometers should be used for cooking temperature and meat internal temperature. Procedures for delivering the appropriate thermal treatment of cooked meats in conformance with food code must be developed and used. Smoke itself without proper cooking is not an effective food preservative. Caution should be used when smoking meats at temperatures in the danger zone 40 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit for prolonged periods of time. In such a case, meat must have been salted or cured first. Now, the benefits of smoking. These are flavor and odor enhancement. color development on outside of product, preservation of the product. Liquid smoke widely used in industry is wood combustion product dissolved in water, cheaper and quicker than smokehouse processes. That's all about curing and smoking methods of meat. Thank you.
So, by now you must have understood the basic preparatory procedure of meat, its curing and smoking. And after understood this, the next module will be discussed as basic preparatory procedure of meat, that is cooking. Thank you.